Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at Sanctuary. Thailog and Demona have teamed up to take Macbeth's wealth. The plan involves a marriage and a dungeon, and I'm not speaking figuratively. Macbeth hasn't lived 1,000 years just to twiddle his thumbs in a cell in his basement, though. His time to end it all has come. It's up to the Gargoyles and Elisa to stop Thailog and Demona's plan and save Macbeth from himself. If you missed the first part, you can read or watch it. Macbeth tells his love that he has some secrets to reveal. Now, if this was anyone but Demona, I'd be feeling sorry for them. You'd think the man would perhaps have let her know about his special qualities before they got married. Rather unfair to do it now. Demona says she will go first, though, and indeed, the sun is setting. She begins to transform. Her wings rip from the back of her dress, and pain racks her. Macbeth feels the pain since he's all of 2 yards away. Now he knows her secret. Well, that's what you get for not telling secrets earlier. I wouldn't want to be immortal unless I had powers that could keep me out of situations where, you want to die but can't. Thailog arrives. Demona leads him to the basement, where the dungeon is. Yes, Macbeth's place in Paris has a dungeon. I should also mention that the dungeon is his wine cellar. I hope he's the only one who goes down there, or some uncomfortable questions might arise. The cell in the back? Well, yes, that's for my poodle collection when they get rowdy. Like, they're legit cells. They've got bars on them. I wonder what Macbeth thinks of this anti-Goliath Thailog. Does he know that Xanatos made him? I don't know. The plan is to keep Macbeth there until the authorities think he's dead, which will happen after Demona reports him missing. Then all his worldly belongings will go to his widow, which would be her. Thailog acts impressed at seeing the mighty Macbeth. He goes up to the bars for a closer look. When he does, he hands Macbeth a laser pistol. Well, now, I guess Goliath was quite wrong. Thailog is actually out conning Demona. And I'm pretty sure Demona was going to try to get rid of Thailog on down the line. You see, they had combined their resources. The $20 million Thailog had stolen from Xanatos, and all the money that Demona had been hoarding for the last 1,000 years. Yeah, and then you add Macbeth's wealth to that? That's going to be real hard to resist. Macbeth is calm about the whole thing. He waits for the right moment, and then shoots at Demona. Somehow she manages to jump out of the way. Then Macbeth shoots a hole in the wall and escapes. This was like his perfect chance. And he blew it. Macbeth has probably been in tighter situations. I would love to see a spin-off series that chronicled Demona and Macbeth's separate sagas over the last 1,000 years. Thailog plays dumb and demands to know if Demona searched Macbeth or not. He recovers quickly, I'll give him that. He's definitely had training from the best. Macbeth gears up and promises it will end tonight. It's the bat suit. His armor there. Thailog goes to the roof and meets Goliath and Angela, who have landed for the battle. Thailog is semi-interested in Angela. Yeah, it's creepy. He's creepy. So there's a better shot of the armor there. Red and silver. He's got the heck of a laser rifle there too, dang. Thailog, being Thailog, he can't resist blabbing his plan to Goliath. It's not so much that he's bragging, he's just saying what's going on. This is very Xanatosian. Except maybe Xanatos wouldn't have blabbed the entire plan. He thinks that with the combined wealth of himself, Demona, and Macbeth, he would be on equal footing with Xanatos. And unless Demona and Macbeth had a massive amount of wealth accumulated, I really don't see how he would be on equal footing with the multi-billionaire. How does he even know how much money Xanatos has? Does Xanatos even know how much money he has? I don't know. Even if he thought he was on the same level finance-wise, and even if he actually becomes that, he lacks the sheer power of Xanatos Enterprises and the reach of the company. Xanatos has been working for a long time to make a lot of contacts. Yeah, I know that money can buy contacts, but sometimes it falls a little short. Alright, this is one fine gargoyle. I'm surprised more of the Gargs haven't changed their wardrobe. Like, seriously, guys, you don't have to stay in ratty old loincloths anymore. We have, fabric that, has actual colors and you can make look decent. Well, there's a throwdown again. Thailog doesn't care that Angela is young and new to the game. He shoots part of the chimney down on top of her. Luckily, Bronx saves her. And luckily, he didn't just shoot her. Period. Thailog and Goliath battle it out. Goliath pushes them off the roof. Inside, Macbeth and Demona are going at it in their usual humorous manner. Each one lands a good solid whack on the other, but only to have it to feel it themselves. So it's a rather pointless effort, other than to see who has the biggest pain tolerance. Yeah, it's blunt force, not really that great unless you're really going to do like a head wound or something. Otherwise, you're just going to both end up rolling around on the ground unconscious. Assign to the globe here the symbolism that you will. There, it got knocked off its little holder. In addition to unarmed combat, Macbeth is blasting at her with a laser rifle. He's a horrible shot. Absolutely horrible. He's pretty much annihilated the entire contents of his library, his furniture, the chandelier, and probably every nice thing he owned. Whenever he tangles with the Gargoyles, this seems to happen. It usually happens, too, because he screwed up, either by shooting the wrong things or setting the wrong things on fire. And, there's all kinds of too much light coming off of that laser. They make it seem like lasers are slower than bullets and are easy to evade. Yeah, and they also make it seem like a laser would light up the whole room, totally ignoring the actual physics of a laser. Elisa arrives and tries to talk sense into them. Talk sense into them. Yeah, it's funny, Elisa. This, of course, is hopeless. Macbeth is sick of everything and wants to die, just like he did in City of Stone. Demona wants to just incapacitate him, which will be tricky since she knows that if she knocks him out, she too will be knocked out. So she'll basically be on the defensive and waiting for the right move. So, this actually makes me think of that way back in Enter Macbeth, when he said he wanted their queen, Demona. I'm pretty sure his plan with her was to kill her and end his life as well. Elisa finally decides that they are not going to listen to reason, so taking a page out of Xanthos' book, she decides to take them both out and sort it out later. That's a cool rifle that Demona has. She grabs one of Macbeth's taser pistols and shoots Demona. Despite Demona seeing her coming, Elisa still manages to hit her with one shot. Yeah, and by the way, Elisa has never fired this kind of weapon before. I don't know how this is possible when Macbeth has been blasting away at the gargoyle for a few minutes now, and he's had 1,000 years to hone his skills in combat. The blast knocks out both Demona and Macbeth. Macbeth comes around first, though, because he was not the direct target. He reminds Elisa that only he and Macbeth can kill each other. Elisa says that's what she was counting on, because she didn't want them to kill each other. She was actually saving Macbeth's life. Goliath arrives to point this out to Macbeth as well. Macbeth is not grateful for having his life saved. He almost achieved his life goal, which, at this point, is to die. However, he accepts it with dignity. He does remark, though, that he will continue his sad, endless existence, which he will spend alone. Yeah, are you guys, kind of feeling guilty yet? Why do you gotta stop him? If he wants to be done with it, let him be done with it. And he'll get rid of Demona. I mean, I guess Goliath's still holding that torch for her. But at this point, come on. 1,000 years of trouble is more than enough. End it. Alone, huh? This was the password that Demona used in City of Stone to lock out Xanatos. This was the commonality between immortals. It is indeed the curse of immortality in many series. In real life, I don't think it would be this way. We lose people we love all the time, either because we move, they die, or we just grow apart gradually. I mean, even if you're Facebook friends, it just after a while, just kind of stop communicating. I think that after this much time, you probably would find a way to occupy yourself. Demona certainly has, even though she feels alone. You would also probably develop the ability to make strong relationships, but not take them too seriously. You don't get too broken up when they end, because they'll end. By that I mean also that you wouldn't be heartbroken. Heck, with my job, I have in the past moved to different parts of the country every several months. So I've been well acquainted with having to leave your life and friends behind and possibly never see them again. Actually, I really don't keep in contact with any of my people that I knew, even though I used to. You both grow apart because you've got other things to do, live in different areas, and work at different places. It's just natural. And here's Goliath, got his hand on Macbeth's shoulder, talking to him. Macbeth doesn't really want to hear it, but he's listening. I enjoy seeing the antagonist and protag have a genuine, heart-to-heart that does not end in violence. Goliath says that the events of tonight prove that Macbeth is capable of love. Now we know very well that Macbeth is capable of love, because he loved his wife and his son dearly. Goliath does not know about Macbeth's history, though. Other than what he maybe read, which is probably not correct. I suppose the question for us viewers, who know all about Macbeth and Demona, was if Macbeth had crushed the ability, or had lost it over the years. As in the episode Eye of the Beholder, where Goliath comments that there is still hope for the world if a man like Xantos can love, Goliath is compelled to talk about Macbeth's love. I don't know why Goliath is so infatuated with the idea of love. Probably because he lost his angel of the night, his one true love. But even then, he has found another in Elisa. He looks over at her when he says that Macbeth can still find love. And again, I've said this word so many times now, it doesn't even make any sense anymore. If you just say a word that many times. Thailog comes back to the mansion just as Demona comes back to consciousness. They fly off together. It's rather amusing. The 1,000-year-old Demona, who thinks she can play everyone, is getting played royally by a 1-year-old. It's even more amazing that she's being played by someone who learned all his tricks from Xantos and has the DNA of Goliath. Man, I love this show. Back to the skiff, Angela is still feeling mixed emotions about the fact that Demona is her mom. Yeah, that would be a bit traumatic. She's disappointed that Goliath never told her who her mom was. She's also disappointed that she had to turn out to be the crazy, vicious, manipulative, vengeful Demona. Final thoughts. This was an episode full of twists. At least it was for the characters. It was less so for us viewers. However, we were still wondering why on earth Demona and Macbeth had teamed up. The theme of love runs through this episode, yet there was no love from Demona and Thailog. No real love, anyway. Xantos was right when he considered love a weakness, because it was Macbeth's love that proved to be his undoing. Indeed, looking from an objective point of view, love is the crack in the armor that gives your enemies a foothold, something they can use against you. Anytime you open yourself up to relationships, you open yourself up to the possibility of emotional, physical, and other types of harm. But you have to decide if it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. It is only when we are vulnerable and a bit uncomfortable that we grow the most emotionally. Without relationships, we become wrapped up in ourselves. And as Ben Franklin said, a man wrapped up in himself makes a very tiny package. Thailog and Demona are very tiny packages. It will be an interesting time to see what Angela does with the information regarding her mom. I'm not sure how much importance she places on mothers, since she pretty much had one in the form of Princess Catherine. I don't really understand people who were adopted and have the obsession of finding their real parents, even though they have loving adoptive parents. But then I guess there's a strong genetic imperative to find your progenitors. So yet again, Elisa passes an episode without calling New York. By the way, this is one that I banged out with voice recognition, so there's more errors in it. It's just kind of funny though, because Thailog was translated as they love, and Xantos as zoom toes. Demona was the moon. I don't know. Well, what did you think about this episode? Did it have enough twists for you? Did you feel surprised when you saw that Thailog was turning on Demona? And what did you think about them stopping Macbeth from killing Demona and himself? Well, you can comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.